Yo, what is going on everyone? MADOLLA here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video and hope you all are having a fabulous day. So today's video is a review on the End, which is a trial scout rifle, which I got from a trials engram a long time ago. And I've always had it, I just never dismantled it. But I've been using it recently because I've been going through the issue of not having my Uriel's gift. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it was my last Destiny 2 video. I'll actually put a link up in the little card area of this video, so the link will pop up right about now. But pretty much what happened was I lost my Uriel's gift. I dismantled it by accident because I wasn't looking at my screen and I was a complete idiot. But I don't have a Uriel's gift in the moment and I'm farming for one, but I still have to play a bunch of Crucible games to make more videos. But so like I've been using a different gun. I've been looking for replacements for my Uriel's gift in the meantime as a placeholder, and I decided, you know what, why not try out this trial scout rifle that I've had for a long time. For some reason I've never dismantled it, and boy am I glad I didn't dismantle it, because this gun is actually pretty nice. As a matter, like, much to my surprise, it's a very good gun. And before I get into the whole discussion about this gun or review about this gun, no, it is not a MEDA multi-tool user, because the moment I said scout rifle, you're probably all thinking about the MEDA multi-tool and you're like, MADOLLA, why do I care about another scout rifle if I have the MEDA? The MEDA is the best scout rifle in the game, and even though I do agree with you, there are times where you probably don't want to use the MEDA multi-tool because it's an exotic, and maybe you want to use an exotic power weapon. So the End can, although it is not your MEDA multi-tool replacement, it is a very good legendary scout rifle that'll also end up opening up that exotic slot for you that you can use. So that's pretty good. If you're a scout rifle user and you want to look for something other than the MEDA multi-tool, because of the fact that it is an exotic weapon, the End is actually a very good scout rifle. And if you ever end up getting it, please don't dismantle it. Actually keep it, because you never know when you might use it. And if you did dismantle it, just hope you get it again, because it's actually a gosh darn good scout rifle. So moving on, I'm going to get straight into the stats of this gun, and we're going to compare it with the MEDA multi-tool at the same time. Starting off, the End is a 180 RPM scout rifle, while the MEDA multi-tool is a 200 RPM scout rifle. So you are getting that slower rate of fire with the End, which is kind of bad, but it makes up for it in certain other areas. So the impact is slightly greater in the End than the MEDA multi-tool. If you play through the Crucible, the End does a 48 precision damage in its effective range, while the MEDA multi-tool does 44 precision damage in its effective range. So 4 more damage points or whatever, which isn't that big of a deal. But one thing that can actually make it a big of a deal is the range. And before I get onto the whole range aspect, they both kill in 4 shots. Let's just get that out of the way. They're both 4-shot kills. So now going into range, the End has a slightly higher range than the MEDA multi-tool. So from my experience in the Crucible, what I believe happens is when you're at that edge of your range, or where you will experience damage fall off, but you're not at that point where you are experiencing it with the End, because the End has a slightly higher range than the MEDA multi-tool, if you're fighting at that same range, the MEDA multi-tool user will probably experience damage fall off before the End will experience damage fall off. So that's a pro. You're still going to be hitting them with that 48 precision damage while they'll be experiencing some slight damage fall off. So that's one thing that puts the End at a higher at an advantage over the MEDA multi-tool. So if you are fighting on those maps with longer lines of sight, it's actually a very powerful weapon to use. And I'll get into the whole strats and play styles that you can use with this gun later on in the video. So moving on with the stats, one thing that also makes the End slightly better is that it has a slightly higher stability than the MEDA multi-tool, so you'll be probably experiencing less bloom and less of that recoil with the MEDA. And then now we get into the drawbacks of this gun, is the handling speed and the reload speed. They are actually kind of crappy compared to the MEDA multi-tool. The MEDA multi-tool's reload speed, surprisingly, is absolutely insane. It reloads super fast. And the handling speed, the ADS time for the MEDA multi-tool is also very quick. So, and compared that to the end, the handling speed and the ADS time is kind of poopy. So it's that's where it kind of falls down below the Meta multi-tool. And then we also have to talk about high caliber rounds because we're comparing the two scout rifles. High caliber rounds is a big thing. The End doesn't have high caliber rounds. Meta multi-tool does have high caliber rounds. So already the Meta multi-tool is at a higher advantage over the End. But if you are looking for so that's why I was saying that it's not a complete replacement to the Meta multi-tool, but it does come in pretty gosh darn close to the Meta multi-tool. It's a very strong legendary, and again, this is a purple weapon. This is a legendary, not an exotic. So it does a fairly good job at coming close. And it does have certain mods that allow you to reload the weapon. One of the mods lets you reload the weapon if you're critically wounded. Another thing will, another couple of mods, if you slide, you partially reload the weapon. And then if you holster the weapon, after a short period of time, it reloads the entire magazine, I believe, which is also pretty cool. So it does have its little perks. So moving on to like the playstyles, or how you would play with this gun, because there are a lot of Meta users out there, and you need to find a way that you can counter them. And one of the best ways to counter Meta users with this gun is the range. Fight them at a longer range where the Meta multi-tool will experience damage fall off and you won't. And couple that with a very nice strafe to keep their shots off target, so they don't really hit you with those high caliber rounds, because those high caliber rounds, regardless of what gun you're using, can be super deadly. So if you can strafe well enough to avoid their shots, so you don't get hit with too much of that high caliber round nonsense, you'll probably win the gunfight. Like I said before, both the scout rifles are 4-shot kills. So they're pretty much on an even playing field when it comes to damage. The only downside is the End does have a lower rate of fire, so its kill time is generally a lot slower than the Meta multi-tool. But one of the ways that you can really work against that is by playing as a support player. If you're a huge support player, I'd recommend running the End, because the End is an energy weapon, so it's very good at taking down shields. So if you can stick back and have your teammates who are very aggressive players, or like running auto rifles or SMGs or hand cannons, whatever they're running Metas, if you help them by shooting shielded enemies and taking their shields down so they can go in and clean up the kills, that's actually a very good way to play this game. That's one thing I've been doing recently, is I've been kind of shifting my playstyle whenever I pull out that scout rifle. You don't have to totally play as a support player, because that's not really how I enjoy playing the game. But when I pull out the scout rifle on those longer sight lines, I will just chill in that area and control those sight lines, and then pick enemies off at a distance, either get the kill or get their shields down, and I'll call them out to my teammates so they can go clean up the kill. And it's been working pretty well playing as a support player with the End. But it does have a very good killing capacity, like I said, because it is a 4-shot kill. So if you end up getting that time to be able to pace your shots and get those accurate 4-shot kills, you'll be golden with this gun. It'll work for you like magic. And it took me a while to get used to it because of that slower rate of fire. But after I started controlling that bloom with this gun and its rate of fire, and just like overall just working with it in unison, like with the range and everything, just making sure everything clicked, it started becoming, to my surprise, it started to become a very powerful gun. And I was honestly caught off guard about how good it actually was. And at the end of the day, it is not a Meta multi-tool replacement, but it is a pretty freaking good gun that does almost as good of a job as a Meta multi-tool. It's getting there, it's just not, better than the Meta multi-tool. So another thing that you could do with this gun, other than playing as a support player, is, like I said, controlling those very long sight lines. There are a lot of maps in this game that have super long sight lines, like hallways, that you can actually abuse the hell out of with the scout rifle. And if you just look at the scout rifle, it almost looks like a freaking sniper. Like, let's be honest, just looking at it, I was like, oh my god, this almost looks like a sniper rifle. So I realized staying back is one of the best things, and controlling those sight lines are one of the best things that you can do with this freaking gun. one of the things that I would warn you about, don't run and gun like it's a meta multi-tool, because you'll get yourself killed. That's what I tried to do early on when I first started using it, and I thought it was a complete garbage scout rifle because I was running and gunning and I just wasn't playing to the gun's strengths. So if you want to use this gun, my biggest recommendation is to calm down and stay back. Stay back and let your teammates like fight enemies while you help them out, or stay around. You got to play very sneaky with this gun. That's one thing that I learned, is you got to almost be like a ninja and sneak around on the outskirts of the map and look around to various sightlines to pick off enemies and like drop their shields or kill them and call them out to your teammates if you drop their shields. So that's one of the best ways that I've learned to play with this gun. It's changed my playstyle considerably. I've had to learn to play a lot more patiently, but it was a new change of pace that I wasn't really used to because of using the Uriel's Gift and the Meta multi-tool. So, but it is a very good gun, like I've said before. Again, I'm gonna say it doesn't replace the Meta multi-tool, so I'm not saying it's like better than the Meta, because it's not, but it is a pretty good gun. And if you have it, don't dismantle it. Keep it on you and use it on a rainy day. Like me, I've been having a rainy week without this Uriel's Gift on me, and I've been using it, and it's surprisingly a very good scout rifle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little weapon review / comparison video that I made. I didn't really know what I was going for. I just wanted to talk about the gun and just tell you guys my thoughts on it. And I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, make sure to leave a huge like on this video and subscribe to keep up with more of the Destiny 2 videos. And I'm going to be having more coming out soon because of Curse of Osiris is about to come out, and I'm super excited for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you all later.